Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving into a critical topic in maritime navigation: overhead clearance from bridge and power cables. If you are a mariner, a student, or simply curious about how ships safely pass under bridge and cables, this video is for you. Of course, it's especially important for navigating officers because we'll be breaking down how to calculate the actual overhead clearance, what an air gap is, and what exactly bridge clearance means. I'm sure many of you remember that viral video of a sailing ship attempting to pass under a bridge and colliding. That's a perfect example of what can happen if calculations are wrong and a vessel's mast or superstructure strikes the bridge. You wouldn't want that to happen on your watch, but with the right calculations, planning, and understanding, your vessel can pass safely under a bridge, just like in this example of a smooth, incident-free transit. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with this image. It's commonly found in nautical publications. Here, as you can see, the charted vertical clearance of a bridge or power cable is usually measured from the highest astronomical tide. However, in the United States, it's referenced from the mean high water springs. This means that if you calculate the bridge clearance using charted data, your actual clearance will usually be higher, because the water level is theoretically above chart datum plus the tides. Always better to have this extra buffer when calculating the overhead clearance. I won't go into the other nomenclatures here since today's video is focused specifically on bridge clearance. Now, where do we actually find the bridge clearance or the air gap? For bridge clearance, you can refer to the ENC data on your electronic chart data systems. For example, in this image, it shows 40.5 meters, which is the height measured above the highest astronomical tide. However, in US waters, you can also use resources like the NOAA website, which provides the actual air gap. That's the distance between the water level and the underside of the bridge, as shown here in this Lake Charles example. We will talk more about the NOAA site in the last slide. The formula for calculating air draft is equal to KTM minus afterdraft minus trim to A divided by LBP, where KTM is the height from keel to mast top, trim is the difference between aft and forward drafts, A is the longitudinal distance between the aft perpendicular and the mast, LBP is the length between perpendiculars. Let's go through an example. KTM equals 52 meters, A equals 32 meters, LBP equals 245 meters, trim equals 2 meters, afterdraft equals 9 meters. Trim into A equals 2 into 32 equals 64, divide by LBP. 64 by 245 equals 0.26. Actual draft at mast equals 9 minus 0.26 equals 8.74. Air draft equals 52 minus 8.74 equals 43.26 meters. So in this case, the ship's air draft is 43.2 meters. This is the actual air draft measured at the location where the main mast is located. Many mariners mistakenly subtract the aft draft from the KTM, which is actually wrong calculation. Also, it is very important to know the actual keel to mast height on your ship. Make sure you also check if your ship has collapsible mast, means you can reduce your KTM by some margins. Once we've calculated the air draft, the next step is to compare it with the air gap or the bridge clearance. That's the distance from the waterline up to the underside of a bridge or power cable. The formula is simple: OHC is equal to air gap or bridge clearance minus air draft. Generally, most maritime companies enforce minimum clearance standards in their safety management systems. For example, 1 meter for bridges and 3 meters for power cables. As you can see in the below example, bridge 1 OHC is equal to 0.2 meters, power cable OHC is equal to 7.8 meters, bridge 2 OHC is equal to 1.8 meters. Now, notice bridge 1 with only 20 centimeters of clearance, that's far below the safe margin. Clearly, the vessel cannot pass under bridge 1 as it stands. In such cases, the master must recalculate the drafts and trim to gain additional clearance. This might involve shifting ballast, taking full bunkers, adjusting ballast in the aft peak tanks, or timing the passage during low tide if the tidal range is significant. On the right-hand image, you can clearly see how the air gap, air draft, and overhead clearance all relate visually. Even after calculating the air draft and overhead clearance, remember, conditions are never static. Air gaps can change due to tidal fluctuations, river level changes, heavy rainfall, seasonal variations. That's why real-time monitoring is essential. Now, let's have a look at the LLAMA data. This is shared on a daily basis and provides the bridge air gaps for the bridges along the Mississippi River. On your ENC charts, you'll often see that the bridge heights data is very less. When you do your calculations, it will show that your vessel can't pass safely. But this is where the LLAMA data is crucial. You can use it to recalculate the overhead clearance with the updated real-time values. The LLAMA report also includes weather forecast, river stage predictions, and controlling drafts, all vital for safe navigation in the Mississippi Channel. Next, let's look at the NOAA site. Here you'll see a green balloon marker that represents the current air gap. Once you click on it, it shows the name of the bridge and the daily air gap. For example, here it shows 43.2 meters. Remember, this number is the air gap, not your vessel's air draft. To find your clearance, simply subtract your vessel's air draft from this air gap, and there you go, you have the overhead clearance. Also, many times the water level changes drastically due to flooding or the monsoon season. In such cases, you need to refer to the river stage charts to check whether water levels are higher or lower than MHHW. This gives you a more accurate assessment of the final resultant overhead clearance. So, to recap, calculate your vessel's air draft, compare it with the air gap of the bridge charted clearance to get the overhead clearance. Always follow company safety margins, for example 1 meter for bridges and 3 meters for cables. And finally, rely on real-time monitoring to avoid surprises from tides, river levels or flooding. With proper calculations, planning and monitoring, your vessel can pass under bridges safely without the risk of any contact or elision. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more maritime insights. Until next time, sail safe.